Hello, BookTube. Good morning. This is another one of my 2 If by C videos. It's a collection of videos, really. Some of them are Steve Donahue and I discussing nautical matters. Some of them are buddy reads with both of us, and some of them are books I'm reading on my own that have to do with nautical fiction or nonfiction. So today I'm doing a video of the Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien. Here's a Folio Society edition. And the end papers that show where this all takes place, which is for the most part in the Indian Ocean, hence the title. Now, this was a buddy read about a year ago, and I'm catching up on my Patrick O'Brien videos, so it may seem odd that I'm doing this, but I did go back through my playlist and I found our announcement video to do the buddy read, and I couldn't find the video where we discussed it, so it may be on Steve's channel. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of the novel because I have 2 more of them that I've read since that I want to make videos about, but it didn't seem to make much sense to me to do it without doing this. And this is a case where I can show you, I've added a little bit to my library of what I use as reference work when I'm going along. I might as well show you what I use as a layout. Right here is Harbors and High Seas. This is Atlas and Geographical Guide to Aubrey Maturin Novels of Patrick O'Brien by Dean King with John B. Hattendorf. This is the 2nd edition. The nice thing is they'll give you these maps where they show routes or important places in the novel. So I use this constantly. I really enjoy it. It's more for the geography and putting things in their place. The other thing I always use, and not as much because I have a maritime background myself, but I didn't live in the 1800s. So no matter what people tell you. This is Sea of Words, 2nd edition by the same 2 authors with the addition of J. Worth Estes. So this is also very handy. I tend to show it almost every time I do these little reviews. They have little line drawings. Of course, I want one now. I can't find. Okay, here's one. And I lose it immediately. Little line drawings to go with it. So nice. On a trip to the Niantic Book Barn in Connecticut with Steve about a year ago, I think, I picked up this. Patrick O'Brien, A Critical Essays and Bibliography, which is quite handy. There's a picture of the author. There's a really good picture of it. This has a piece on the ships by Byron Lavery, who I have other volumes by. He did an essay here. There's the HMS Surprise. And then I also picked up there, which I haven't read yet, again by Dean King. And I think Nikolai Tolstoy did a biography too that I need to find. This is Patrick O'Brien, A Life Revealed. So I will get to this. So the Mauritius Command. We're at Ash Grove Cottage when this opens up. And it's a smallish cottage. It does have access visually to the sea. It's on the road to a main thoroughfare. It's the house is full. So Captain Aubrey and his wife are there, and mother-in-law, who somehow has managed to lose all the daughter's dowry. Little children, and Aubrey keeps himself, he's ashore, he doesn't have a ship, and he keeps himself busy with his astronomy builds a little observatory. There's a wonderful scene. I think I'm trying to remember her name. I think it's Christine Heschel. Let me take a look. I probably have it here, and I can do it quick enough. Let's see. Allusions to literature. No, that's not going to be it. Oh, okay, yeah, it should be right here. So, I know this is not the way you're supposed to do this, but this is the way I do things. Oh, yeah, Caroline Herschel. So, sister of William Herschel, the astronomer, she shows up, helps Aubrey polish the glasses and the lenses and stuff for his telescope. He's looking at the planets. He's got some ideas about navigation. He's also looking at the ships and going back and forth and longing for a return to sea, which of course does happen. Maturin, his sidekick, spy, naturalist. Some of the naturalist stuff is starting to come to the fore a little bit in this novel. You know, where he gets dropped off and he'll look at birds or whatever. That was a big thing at the time. And he also uses his influence for his friend Jack Aubrey, and they get a ship. And it's the Boadicea, and they are to leave to go. Spain has declared war with France, so they get the ship. Aubrey gets the ship, and they're to go to Mauritius, Reunion Island, all that, which are French outposts in the middle of the Indian Ocean, which is causing a lot of trouble for the British East India Company. En route, Lucky Jack Aubrey, that's his name, he runs into a couple French ships that have captured a British ship. He takes these prizes, which help money-wise, and so they sends him back to London. But he keeps the British crew and gets rid of some of his weaker crew and spends the rest of this large sea time to get there. This is quite a ways. I mean, I can show you here. This is there. So here's an action there. What does it say? Boadicea versus Hebe in Intrepid and Intrepid Fox, and then that's where that happens. So this whole time here, he's practicing, right? Getting ready. When he gets to the Cape Town, there's an Admiral Bertie who lets him fly his pendant and become a commodore of a fleet. And this puts Aubrey in a position that we haven't seen him in before. He's usually the Captain Cochrane type, cutting out battles against great odds, single ship action, he in a single ship anyway, and not really someone who's controlling a fleet, okay, or a squadron or whatever. It's a different animal. So he's got captains on each of these ships with personalities, and he's got to do a kind of leadership that we haven't seen before. Be back from the action sometimes. So it's very, very, very interesting. I think the play of the other captains with very different personalities. One's a dandy, one's a really accomplished captain, but is really rough on his crew. He's disciplinarian that, in a way, only the Royal Navy could be disciplinarians. And so a bit cruel. We have back and forth. We end up with a guy named Keating, who's not a sea captain. He's on land. He's a soldier. He ends up being really good. They work together well. Maturin goes off and on to do some preparation of the populations on these islands to prepare them for British. They have battles back and forth, the usual stuff. But the really interesting thing is that Aubrey is not the same hero because he has a different job. and we see some development with matter and in that. So as a psychological study of these different captains and how they work and how it works out, I'm not going to spoil the whole story for you, is really interesting. But if you're looking for that, Aubrey on the Surprise, and it's a different kind of novel. So I really enjoyed it. I've moved on since to a couple others, and I will do updates on those. But I must say, it was interesting seeing Aubrey in a different role. Now, the period details in here, like at Ash Grove and that immersion, that goes on with all these novels, and it's one of their strengths. I did hear some criticisms that this novel will build up to a climax and then move on to the next thing before it ever gets there. That may be true. It didn't really affect me, so maybe it flew by me. I'm always fascinated with the details, so sometimes something like that might slip by me. So things are going well here. What is the temperature? It's 40 degrees on, what is it? Today's November 28th. It's going to be December. And I walk around with a t-shirt on in Vermont. It makes no sense. But I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because the snow will come, which I love, and the winter will come. But I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry if this is a revisit. Like I said, I couldn't find the video, but I thought I'd better do it because I'm going to move along to some other ones of these novels, and I wanted to make sure that the playlist was complete and you could find at least some sort of reference if you were reading these novels. So be well, and thank you, BookTube.